Yeah. Pocket full of money, swisher loaded with gas. Celebration in order, you're now watching a class. Pocket full of money, swisher loaded with gas. Celebration in order, you're now watching a class. Pocket.
Yeah. Welcome back to another episode of Unpopular Honesty, the home of brutal honesty and real hip hop music. I am Cornbread Capone. Today, my guest is the beautiful Miss Essence. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Can't complain. You know how I go down every time I get up in it. We're going to get right into it.
All right. Well, music. How do you feel about music coming from... I'm going to start with the outer, just music, period. How do you feel about music in 2023?
Music in 2023 is giving spice, dice, and everything nice. Honestly, right now, you can get really pretty much any flavor, any vibe that you're really trying to get. If you're in an up mood, you'll get you some up music. If you're in a down mood, you can get you some down music. It just depends on your vibe. Depends on how you ride in your car, I feel like.
Okay. Well, when I'm out in public, sometimes when I get in my car, I don't have no music playing. And then it'd be a while that I'm driving in silence and I realize, you're not playing no music, Brad. And that's because sometimes, I'd rather ride in silence. Now, the irritating part about that is, the cars around you are not necessarily riding in silence at the same time you are.
Facts.
So there's been plenty of times that I have been at a red light in silence, sitting in my car, and then up pulls somebody next to me playing what I deem as noise pollution. Now, we're going to be brutally honest here because if somebody would have asked me what do I think about music in 2023, I would have to say, okay, well, what genre are we speaking of?
Facts.
Most people will speak of rap because that's the most listened to genre on planet Earth. Well, at this point in time, rap music has been suffering. 98% of rap music is complete and utter garbage. Why? Because you done took away all the messages. You took away all the news that you can use. You took away rappers used to make records about the women that they love. They don't even do that no more. They used to make records about their mama. They don't do that no more. They used to make fuck the police anthems. They don't do that no more. So now you took all that out. So now you're left with a vibe. A word that's constantly used in this generation. And let me say this, vibes are not conducive to staying around. Vibe is conducive to the moment in time that which you're in. Once that vibe is over, essentially the music falls flat. And that's why artists today, most of them don't have classic albums. Most of them don't even have good songs. A lot of them don't even write their own material, yet their names are mentioned in the best or greatest ever conversations. How do you feel about that?
Well, I gotta go ahead and piggyback off something that you said prior. The mama songs and the fuck the police songs and all of those songs. Those were one songs. Those wasn't albums saying fuck the police, the album. Right. Those were just one songs. Dear Mama, Tupac was one song. So you can't consider it like everybody. You take a whole project, you might only have 2 or 3 songs that might connect with one person. So with me right now, I would say, you're completely out the loop then, because there's so much music out there right now, 2023 music from different artists that do have those same anthems. We got Lil Baby with that anthem about the Black Lives Matter movement. That was a huge platform, a huge song. And that's somebody that people might say is ruckus, or he has music that probably is not just a vibe, but something that is culturally impacted. Not just that, right? On top, and I'm just using him for one example, but there also is too mama songs, daddy songs, father songs. If you think about Frito Bang right now, he had his recent past album that just came out. People might look at Frito Bang as a person who shoot 'em up, bang, bang songs. But then he talked about being a father. He talked about being a father to his own friends' kids that has passed away. He talked about making a huge impact that maybe other people might not recognize. And this is just beyond, bitch, you better throw it back. You feel me? But if you listen to the whole project, you're going to find those songs that are there for that artist. And just like right now, I'm a huge female rapper activist right now. I believe there's so much good music coming out.
We finna talk about that.
I know we're going to talk about it. But when I say that, I can look at Megan Thee Stallion, right? Megan Thee Stallion, she can throw that throw baby songs and cry baby songs, but she also talked about anxiety. She also talked about not being able to move functionally right now in this era. But those are not her number one hit songs, but those are still songs that she put on that project. So like what you're saying right now, like I just had to come back on. The songs that you were talking about, those are one hits off of 15 songs. Now you're getting maybe 11 songs, but you might get 2 of those 11 songs that's really coming from the heart, really giving that purpose. Now they might not be blasting it on the radio. Why? Because they want to toxic our communities. We know that. But in all actuality, hey, those songs are out there. You just got to have, like you said, you riding with your music off. They got people riding with their music on, and those songs are being played.
Yeah. I mean, it's a reason why I do it. But now, what you said about Lil Baby.
Yeah.
I can't discredit him because he did something that the rest of his generation was scared to do.
Yeah.
Which was address what was going on in the country at that moment in time.
And you know what's so crazy about this? When you think about Tupac and Ice Cube, those people, they were just putting out those songs just to bring awareness to what was going on. And that was already going on with other artists already. They just wasn't promoting it. So all it does is take really one person to put it out there for that age range. It took Pac to do that. It took Ice Cube. It took those people at that genre to do it. But now we got Lil Baby. We got Megan Thee Stallion. We got other people right now that's doing it. We just got to be able to highlight them while they're here.
Nah. We talking about female rappers. Let's go on and do it because you done already mentioned her name.
Okay.
For my personal opinion.
Okay. Because
and I'm gonna just be brutally fucking honest here.
Okay. Cool.
Because this has happened to me.
Okay.
There's been times where I've been outside, an attractive woman will pull up in her car. Mm-hmm. I see she attractive because obviously I looked her way.
Yes, you did.
But I'm also paying attention to what she's listening to.
Okay.
And if she's listening to Megan Thee Stallion, chances are I'm not going to talk to her.
Why? You're talking about a college-educated woman with multiple businesses, multiple careers, acting. Not only act, this is a
Well, I can tell you why.
Why? I'm asking. I want to hear your unpopular opinion.
Because most of the women that I see listening to Megan are not the college graduates, are not the business owners. They are the girls who latch on to her content and live their life according to her content.
Well, then it goes to, when you hear Megan Thee Stallion, what do you think her content is? That's what I'm asking.
I mean, I know what her content is because it's right out there. She don't hide nothing. So, I mean, her content is wild. Her content is hands on my knees, shaking ass on my thought shit. It's very simple, direct, to the point. The lyrics are not difficult to decipher. I can understand. It's basically saying, hey, I'm popping this ass. You want to see this ass? You want to fuck? You're going to have to pay. Basically, I'm a proud prostitute. I'm going to put that notion in my music. And I'm going to pump it and sell it. And she's a businesswoman at the end of the day.
Factual.
Because guess what? Megan Thee Stallion sell all that thought shit to America and then goes home to a man.
Facts.
So let's tell the truth.
So exactly. So that's where it goes to right here. And I can't speak. Now, this might be an unpopular opinion, but I'm a college graduate. Right. I'm a business owner.
Right.
I'm a person that listens to that music. Like I said, you can have 2 songs, like hands on your knees, shaking ass on my thigh shit. That's one song out of her whole project. Radio play songs. These are not actually who her content is, what she's really talking. She's talking about the fact that she lost her mom, she lost her dad. I mean, her dad died, is in jail. Like, all of these things. She's telling real life stories, things that actually girls are going through. Yes, hands on my knees, shaking ass on my thought shit. When I'm going outside and I go to the club, I want to put my hands on my knees, shaking ass to my thought shit. But in all actuality, when I can still go home to my man and it's still good. It goes into, that's the mode that you're in that mode, but doesn't mean that that's what she's saying is bad business or it's over provocative. Because at the end of the day, you go back to the 90s, Shake that ass, bitch, and let me see what you got. That was the content that everybody was dancing to. You know, that Uncle Luke, that Too Short. Those were content. Pimp C, they were saying some dog ass, let me see that brown booty hole. That's the shit these men were saying. So now that a woman is saying it, it sounds crazy. It's like, oh my God, she opened up the game. She's saying things that can never be said.
It's
But
not
in
that.
all actuality, it's my unpopular opinion.
I'm gonna tell you the
That's
difference.
true fact.
I'm gonna tell you the difference between that and, well, that era and today's era.
Okay.
When Lil Kim came out, and she said, I can make a Sprite can disappear in my mouth. There were girls who had to sneak and listen to Lil Kim because their mamas and daddies was on their ass.
Right.
It wasn't an abundance of girls trying to be like Lil Kim and Foxy. Today, it's a bunch of girls who live according to the city girl gospel, the Cardi B gospel, the Megan Thee Stallion gospel.
When you look back right now at all these artists, all these female artists, who do they mimic now? That Little Kim era. They got the same wig she got on. So you can say those little girls wasn't trying to be like that. Clearly, she created a whole new way.
Yes, she has been the template for the last 20 years.
25. And then, even then, you know, she got Nicki Minaj, Foxy Brown. And then after all of them, we had Remy Ma. And then now we get into Megan Thee Stallion, the City Girls. But not just those artists, because that's the thing. You're looking at those artists that do, but there's so many other female artists that's not doing that sexually explicit thing, that's not doing ABCDFG, but still getting that same wave. It's so many right now. One thing about the game right now, as far as female rappers is concerned, they are taking over the entire game. You get so many diversities, so many singing, dancing, and also too, yes, you have those few explicit. You got those 3 explicit groups, but don't act like we didn't have 3 explicit then. It was just that those 3 that was explicit back then, they're not getting that exposure that these girls are now. And that's the difference. And even for the guys, right? Guys back then could say all of these things. Like back then, they could say shoot 'em up, bang, bang, ride down on you, put a drive-bys and all of that. But now that these younger artists are doing the same thing and doing with their role models like Pac, Ice Cube, Fuck the Police, and doing all that, those were their role models, Biggie. So now you can't be mad at NBA Youngboy for saying the things that he's saying, because in all actuality, he's just mimicking Pac. He's just giving you full-fledged rah, 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 hit him up, Pac. You feel me? So that's the difference.
I don't think that he's mimicking Pac.
Well, when I say mimicking Pac, I'm talking about the content that he's putting out. At the end of the day, many kids, as a little boy, they couldn't listen to Pac. They couldn't listen to Biggie. These guys were selling drugs, killing each other, and shooting up the scene. In all actuality, now that these same guys are saying the same thing, we're the bad generation, we're the people that's doing it the wrong way. At the end of the day, it's music. You don't have to live and die by what you're saying as a person that's listening to it. And remember, at the end of the day, it's pure entertainment. My job is not to look up to them. I never looked up to Pac, Nicki Minaj, Lil Kim, nobody. I looked up to people that I feel like deemed perfect for what I wanted to be in life. I like Oprah. I like Wendy Williams, and I like it, Monique, like if I wanted to laugh and giggle as far as my entertainment people that I looked up to. But in all actuality, I'm looking up to Megan Thee Stallion. If I'm looking up to, I'm looking up to her Doritos commercials that she got her endorsements deals. She got the Revlon deals. She got the Fashion Nova deals. On top of that, she got the Cash App deals. On a business side, if I had to put out hands on my knees, shaking ass to my thigh shit, now I'm running to the bank, cashing checks. It sounds like a win to me. Now, many people might not look at it like that, but at the end of the day, that's the true facts of it all.
Well, that's the business side of her, and I did mention that she's a businesswoman, but see, this is where the content becomes bad for the listener, because like I said, most people today are listening to music because they can relate to it.
Right.
What you listen to is important because it's not far from who you are and what you believe. So most girls listening to the thought shit tend to believe thought shit.
No, but
and what makes it bad is because now you don't have, you have discernment, you have understanding with you. So you can separate what's entertainment and what's reality.
Yes.
But there's a lot of girls who don't have nobody to sit them down and tell them that, so they don't know the difference. So they go out in life and they operate and they move under those facets, and then they wonder why they get treated the way they get treated.
No, but you got to think about it like this. The reason why that is, think about this. If you go back 50 years ago, women didn't even have the right to even open their own bank accounts, let alone they had to ask their man for money, ask their man to pay all their bills. And all they had to do at that time, 50 years ago, was cook and clean and suck dick. That's all they had to do. So now we're in the age of 2023. Women want to do it their own way, do it their own line. They don't have to have a man in order to get approval to be able to live their life. So yeah, you will go out. Many women, and that's what they taught you as a girl, a young woman growing up. All you have to do is cook, clean, suck dick, and keep your life intact. Keep your man intact. Now we're at the era now. You don't have to. I know for me and my mom, I told my mom, I didn't go to school to get a good job. I went to school to create good jobs. I didn't do this and that and the third just so I can shake ass and suck dick for my husband that might leave me and go be fucking Britney from the church. You know what I'm saying? We're at an age now when we have people that's actually speaking for us, doing things for us. It's all about your perception of the music. I don't take the perception of the music like, oh, this is trying to tell me this is what I got to do. At the end of the day, we all know men pay for sex. Sex sells. Men will do anything to be with a woman. Men tell you all the time. And then you know what they say on those men rap songs? Well, she got to have this and they're going to give her Birkins and Chanel's and do this if she look like this and that and the third. So it's like, it's a double-sided sword, what you're saying.
I don't agree with the men like that either because simping fucks up the game for those who are not simping.
True. But then they got pimping that sets up the game for the industry that we're trying to make. They got, that's the game.
Right.
And the game is to be sold, not told. And everybody that falls in that category, it's been like this forever. Way before the Megans and the Stallions, because at the end of the day, if you look back who Megan Thee Stallion, one person that she looked up to in the music industry was Pimp C. She went by Tina Snow. Way before the mainstream, she was Tina Snow. Her person that she looked up to the most was Pimp C. And we all know what he was talking about.
He was a legend.
He was a legend. We make him a legend. We making him a legend for what? Not saying that he's not a legend by his great music and the work that he put in and the things that he did. But if you talk about the things that he was saying that corrupted our neighborhoods, the things that he was doing that made young girls feel like that was okay. So in all actuality, when it comes to our unpopular opinions, we got to remember, we can't judge what's coming out 2023. We need to be judging what was in 95, 94, 91. Because that's when those kids was born, and that's what our parents was listening to.
I would never do that because I believe that you cannot compare. You would not, if a Honda and a Bentley pulled up at the same time right now, we would not compare them two vehicles to each other.
Yes, we would.
The Bentleys would be the 90s because the 90s rap music. I'm sorry, there is no era that will surpass the 1990s as far as rap music is concerned. There was too many classic albums. It's too many. Matter of fact, this generation can thank the 90s,
of course,
for bringing the cash level up because back then it was not a lot of money in rap.
Yeah, and
now it is, because the 90s had to walk in order for this generation to run.
But in all actuality, if you look back at all those people that did music in the 90s, right? All of them are damn near broke. Living a lifestyle that they couldn't maintain, trying to show something that wasn't there. Not in all actuality, they really wasn't making the money. We know that now. When we go back to the stats, how much they was getting from radio play, how much they was getting from their CDs and mixtapes, and how much money they made from the contracts they was really signing. Now, it's a whole indie wave. Cutting out the middleman. We don't need, and that's something too that, Pimp C creating his own, him and Bun B creating their own UGK wave, showing that you don't even have to have this, that, and the third to be able to make money and get a fan base. So, in all actuality, you create fans. They gave us the blueprint for it, but now on the back end, you can see that the business side was not there. Because not a lot of them now transition into construction or, real estate, and they're not even getting paid. And majority of them sold their royalties in dice games and in different situations like that. So
everybody did.
Not everybody, but a lot.
Snoop owns Death Row.
Now he does.
All those artists from the 90s, something about them contracts. There's a 35-year law, meaning after 35 years, all the rights and ownership goes back to the artist.
Right.
So all those albums that I be celebrating, like on my Facebook, they 30, 35 years old, all the rights go back to the De La Soul got all their catalog.
Yeah.
It's a bunch of artists. Tribe Called Quest got their catalog. Yep. It's a gang of artists from the 90s who people think are broke or because they have their catalog.
Well, I'm not going to say think they're broke because that's the difference. It's not necessarily think they're broke, but a lot of them have went into bankruptcy not once but twice. A lot of them, you're living off your rights and your royalties off your music, but the money that you was making from the shows that you were doing, you did not save nor finance or put into anything. A lot of them took a huge loss. If you look right now, I just seen LL Cool J, right? Mm-hmm. LL Cool J was one of the greatest. You feel me? Still is one of the greatest. Mm-hmm. Made a lot of huge impact in the culture in general, right? But then you see him on a Spirit flight. And then you see, because he goes from private jets to Spirit flights, and then he goes into what other artists say, younger artists, because this was all over the blogs, maybe like 3 weeks ago. It was like a new guy in the industry said, "Who is LL Cool J?" And everybody ate him up. Everybody ate him up like, you don't know who LL Cool J is? But in all actuality, LL Cool J, this guy is 18 years old. LL Cool J haven't released an album over 25 years ago. So before his time.
No, it's been about 10. Since his last album came out, it's been about a decade.
I've been about a decade. So you're saying back in 2010, he came out with an album?
It was after 2010. It was about 2012, 2013 was the last album.
Okay, well, what was the numbers?
The number? It was independent.
No, but when I say what was the number, the only people that actually really purchased it was those fans from over 25 years ago.
Right.
Those are the market that he released that music for his fans that still was around and still was going to support him. But right now they're using all of those same recipes in the industry right now and taking it above 10,000. They're taking it above and beyond. So you can say that these albums are not A, B, C, D, E, F, G, but in all actuality, if you go back to 2005, Soulja Boy, Crank That Yank. You boom. That song 7 times platinum. That album right now is selling, and that's what's so crazy,
and
right?
That was the point that rap music went down the toilet.
Of course. Well, in some people aspects, but that was the whole new transition of hip hop. And that's it wasn't a bad thing. It went from long t-shirts, baggy pants, guns up, we holding down with our partners in the video to let's dance, let's have fun. We ain't got to kill each other no more. That whole wave between 2005 to really the 2000s in general was the whole wave of a whole new sound. We don't have to be shoot 'em up. We don't have to die behind.
So the sound was better in your opinion.
The sound of the message was better versus the message that was before.
Because I'm gonna tell you, about the time Soulja Boy came out.
Yep.
I stopped listening to secular radio. Mm-hmm. I have not listened to radio since 2007. Mm-hmm. I stopped watching the war shows.
Why?
Because I saw water being added to the culture.
Wow. So you're saying those people that's been putting in work in the studio, on their shows, on the road, doing tours,
I'm talking
they
about
don't deserve to be recognized?
I'm talking about in terms of quality of music. The quality in rap dropped dramatically starting in about the time frame of 2006, 2007, and it continued. And it continued to progress, and it continued to go down the drain slowly but surely. And watered down, it became more about the mechanics. It became more about the numbers. It became more about popularity. Now it's, instead of my music being on Front Street, now it's what I'm saying, making news, traveling around the blogs. Now that's a form of promotion because now your music is not good enough. Now my personality has to be out there. Now I have to make statements about other people that don't have nothing to do with me. And it just muddied the affair when it came to hip hop.
Well, then I beg to differ. The only reason why, like you think about, okay, we're looking at this Straight Outta Compton sign here. We talk about Eazy. They did great shows and great things. But once it was the whole age thing, boosted the whole ratings of their entire group. The tragedy in their mind. People love a story. And even back then, they loved the story. Still now, they love a story. So if you can't sell me a story, it's way bigger than just the studio now. You can't just sell me with a track because everyone's making music. Sell me with your story. What's going to separate you from everyone else? And that's what it is right now in the industry. If you don't have a story or nothing that we can push or go forward toward, then hey, it's nothing that we can do. Even going back right here, like you talked about the City Girls earlier, you said that. The City Girls story, in all actuality, 2 girls from the hood, just like me, just like every other girl. They did one song playing in the studio. They actually got heard by someone that was in their city. They heard that song. They said, okay, cool. We'll put some money behind you and we'll push your song. Now we're pushing a whole, listen, you don't have to be that regular home style girl because at the end of the day, just because they made that type of music, we still have other artists that's out there singing. We ain't pushing that city girl wave. We're pushing productivity. We're pushing different ways. So it's all about the message behind the person.
What gets pushed and promoted?
all of those things. Because if you go right, this is
Rhapsody don't get the same push as City Girl.
No, guess what?
Rhapsody is the best female artist out right now, and she's not talking about selling her.
Well, guess how, I'm gonna say this. If you go to the freshman double XL freshman of the year, and they have all those people, right? I remember when Megan Thee Stallion was on it, and the year right after her, it was a lot of female rappers, diversified. It wasn't just people just saying what Megan was saying. Megan was
Who
giving.
gets the push is what I'm saying.
All of them got the push.
It's all of them out there, and they're all supposed to be diverse.
They're all getting the push.
But they all don't get no push.
They all getting the push. It's all about the fans, what they actually like and what they want to listen to. If I put out a song right now saying, if I do a gospel album right now, the only people that's going to ride that wave is gospel, people that rock with gospel music. If I'm pushing, motherly love music or some Lauryn Hill music or that type of vibe, Erykah Badu, that's the people that's going to be following that wave. It's all about what type of people, your target audience. If their target audience is not booming or getting the push that it deserves, at the end of the day, that's cool. You got your own fan base. Everybody does. Even for you, Cornbread. You got people that jam your music, that rock out with you for you. You feel me? But then they might have another artist that somebody say, hey, I rock out with him and I can relate to him. So there's no difference. Not saying that your fans are less value than his fans. It just goes to, hey, I like what I like.
That wasn't the point. The point I was trying to make is you have Rhapsody and you have Megan.
Yep.
Both make great music.
Yep.
Rhapsody is the MC, the spitter.
Yeah.
Her music is not negative. It doesn't teach girls to be prostitutes. Yet you don't hear it on the radio.
Why is that?
Because it's an agenda.
Okay.
They are pushing, and music is a part of programming. That's why radio is called radio programming. Yeah. It is programmed in people's minds so much so that they know the music while it's not on.
Right.
So much so that they remember the music in conversations and they quote it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, and you got to think, naturally, music plays on the psyche. If you believe this artist, whether they're telling the truth or not.
Right.
Now you're going down the rabbit hole because now you've been programmed to believe this. Well, this is what you've been programmed.
Well, the only reason why it's double-sided for me, because I went to school for it. TV, radio, film with a minor in social media marketing. So for me, I know what's going to trigger your mind. I know what's going to hit home. It doesn't, the same way Rhapsody, she probably has her own wave and her own people that's pushing their own agenda. She's standing strong on the agenda she wants to push, which is not a bad thing. But is it my job to program that into the cycle of things that's not going to benefit the target audience that I'm looking for? I have to do what's best for my target audience. If my target audience wants this, I have to provide that for them. This is a service. It's hand over fist in this industry.
And I'm going to talk about the audience.
Yeah.
A lot of the audience has been confused. They have been programmed and conditioned to like bullshit. Now, a lot of them don't know what real music is.
How can you assume that?
Case in point. Okay. How can I assume that? I can get online right now and I can see somebody with a top 5 rapper list. And out of them top 5, 2 of the top 5 people is going to be Drake and Future. Let's just use this as an example.
Okay.
Drake is an R&B pop singer. He's not a rapper. He will never be considered a rapper. Plus he has ghostwriters. When you have ghostwriters, you cannot be mentioned or brought up in the conversation of best or greatest ever. Because the greatest don't have ghostwriters. Pac didn't, Rakim didn't, Jigga didn't, Nas didn't. So miss me with that. Future is a singer. He sings in auto-tune. The nigga ain't never rapped since he fucking came out. So when you put him on the list, that lets me know you don't know what you're talking about musically because you have R&B artists on a rapper's list. I wouldn't put Jamie Foxx and R. Kelly on a best rappers list. Right. They are singers.
Right.
So let's classify it correctly. A lot of people who they call rappers ain't rapping. Singing with or without auto-tune is not rap. Rap stands for rhythm and poetry. R&B is rhythm and blues.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So that when I see that, I say, okay, there goes somebody who don't know what the fuck they talking about.
Well, I got a question for you, right? Out of all those Drake albums, he's had about 7 so far. And out of those 7 rap albums, because that's what they're considered in the genre. If we go to Apple Music, they're going to say rap. All right. Now, out of those 7, he did sing on maybe 4 of those albums. He had 3 of those 4 albums that he did not sing on. Just raps. Now, when it goes to ghostwriting and things like that, I'm a true activist for ghostwriters. And when I say that, as a person that's written things for other people before, I might have a craft that I want to put out. And I believe that this person is the best person for the job to deliver the sound that I'm looking for. And then we're talking music industry here, right? So if I could team up with you, if I got a song I'm trying to do, Cornbread, can you help me with this? Do this sound good? Now, even if you said, nah, just switch up left and right and left, I have to credit you as a ghostwriter on my track. Even